So you have now made both pieces of your purse. So this will be the front and the back. And if you haven't got this far, it means you haven't seen part one yet. So go back and watch part one first. So I'm going to turn the part of the purse so that the right sides are touching. So on the outside here, what you can see on the outside is the wrong side and will eventually be the inside of the purse. So we're going to join these two pieces together. So we're only going to join half of the purse, obviously, because we need half of it to open to put in all our money. So in the very corner of where I started my 32 single crochets, I'm going to attach my yarn with a knot. I can now reinsert my hook into the space where I attached the yarn, pull up a loop and chain one, and now I'm ready to go. So I'm going to single crochet through both parts of the purse, so the front and the back, all the way around the side of the 32 stitches, and in places where there are no stitch, I'll just poke my hook through a hole of similar space through both pieces. So when I get to corners, I'm going to do 3 single crochets in the corners so that I can turn my work around. So here I am at a corner. So I'm going through the same stitch on both pieces, yarn over, pull through both pieces, yarn over and pull through. And then I'm going to continue to single crochet all the way down one side, well not one side, all the way down and across the bottom of these two pieces, joining them as I go. And once I've got all the way to the opposite side and I've done my last single crochet, I'm going to slip stitch to join and I can fasten off. And then if I turn this piece of work inside out, this is going to be the front of our purse and it's all joined at the bottom. The next part is optional, but should you want to, I'm going to show you how to line your purse. So this is some old fabric. It doesn't really matter what type of fabric you have. And I'm going to fold the fabric in two. Now I'm going to place the purse on top of the fabric, and with a fabric pencil I'm going to draw around the perimeter of the purse. This doesn't have to be extremely neat because we won't see it, and it's also just a guide. But as long as you have pretty much a similar shape to the purse. I've now cut away some of the excess fabric just to make things a little bit easier, and I'm going to sew from these 2 points. So I'm going to sew around the perimeter of the line that we've just drawn in back stitch to seal just the bottom half of this lining. So now with a tapestry needle and some cotton, I'm going to use a back stitch and sew roughly along the bottom of this perimeter we've just made. So when I start a piece of sewing, I like to go over the same stitch multiple times to make sure it's not going to unravel, even though I have put in a small knot. And I'm going to follow just inside the line that we've made and sew a back stitch all the way across to the opposite side. And once I get to the opposite side, I'm going to turn my work and I'm going to stitch all the way back again, just to make sure it's extra secure. And when I get back to the beginning, I'm going to finish as I started and I'm going to sew over the same spot multiple times to make sure that this end will not unravel. And I can also tie a couple of knots in. And now we can do a more refined cut. So with my scissors, I'm going to cut as close to this stitch mark as I can without cutting the stitches. So make sure you're not cutting any of the stitches underneath. And we're going to cut all the way around the blue line that we made earlier. And once you have finished cutting around the lining, you can place it into your purse. So just spend a little bit of time positioning it the way you want to. So there we go. And next we're going to be sewing this edge neatly around the top of the purse. And then we can sew on our clasp. So before we add the clasp, we need to sew down this extra lining. And we're going to do that by bending it into place and then sewing it. So with my tapestry needle and my cotton again, I'm going to attach the cotton and I'm going to sew in and out whilst folding the top of the lining into place. So I think you'll see this better than I'll explain it verbally. You want to keep your stitches as close to the edge as possible so that when you put your clasp on top, it's going to hide all the stitch marks underneath. So with one hand I'm going to fold the lining into place, and with my needle I'm going to stitch at the very top of the last single crochet that we did of the purse. So this is just one of them fiddly jobs, but just take your time. And if you're not happy with the way you folded the fabric, just redo it. And you're going to sew all the way around, attaching this fabric into place. So we can now add the clasp. This is an 8.5cm clasp and I got it off eBay. So if you want a link to this purchase, check out the description box and I'll put a link there. So to make sure I get the clasp in the right position, I like to start in the middle. So I like to do the centre stitch first. So as you see, you push all of your material up under the back flap of the clasp. And now we're going to sew it into place. So as you can see, I'm using my left hand to push all the fabric and the front of the purse up into the clasp, and then with my right hand I'm going to do a back stitch through the holes provided in the clasp to make sure that it's attached to the purse. So take your time This is really fiddly, but just take your time and you'll get there in the end. So the purse is now looking good, but I just wanted to add a little bit of extra detail, so I dug these buttons out from my storage cupboard. So I'm just going to sew the buttons onto the centre of either side of the purse, just to add the finishing touch. Then our purse is ready to use. So with my embroidery needle and the same DK yarn that I've used to make the purse, I'm going to use this to attach the button. So I'm going to go through the back loop of the button and through various parts of the centre of the purse, connecting them together a couple of times to make sure they're secure. Then I can join and fasten off the work. You can use any button that you like here, but I did like these gold ones. And there you have your finished button purse to add to your collection. So I hope you liked this tutorial. If you did, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And other than that, I hope you have a lovely day and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.